Let's just put it the right way around. Hold on. Give me. There. Hello and welcome to a new video. I'm sitting in the area that one of my friends has nicknamed my secret garden, and actually I love the name so much that it's gonna stick. So welcome to my secret garden. This is actually the little courtyard that will be leading off the bedroom that I'm currently building or renovating. And this week, they've actually made some really beautiful progress on the space and cleaned it up, and it's starting to really actually take shape and look like a little courtyard. I can't wait to pretty it up, put some flowers in here, plant some grass perhaps on the ground, and have this really beautiful little sacred space for myself and the dogs just off the bedroom. This week on the renovation, it was week 9 of the full renovation. It was an interesting one. A lot actually happened this week. It rained so much, and it was so cold this week as well. Last night, in fact, was probably one of the coldest nights I've had on the farm. It was icy cold, and it made me realize that I'm definitely going to need to put quite a few heaters in the space just to bring up the nighttime ambience a little more so that you don't freeze too much at night, because last night I only have a gas heater on the other side where I'm currently living, and I seriously considered putting it on because it was that cold. Obviously I wouldn't, because that's obviously not good to sleep with gas on. So of all the things that happened this week, all the rain means that the outside area is super muddy, with all the cars driving in here on a daily basis and all the foot traffic. That's not just me. Everything is muddy. There's pools of water everywhere. The wetness of the ground has also brought forward beautiful mushrooms, and they've just sprung up everywhere. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about mushrooms to try and eat them, but they're very pretty, and I enjoy looking at them at least. One day I will definitely do a mushroom course, and I can maybe figure out if I can eat them or not. On the renovation side, what happened this week was we made some really good progress. We still continued finessing off some of the walls and the interior structures. The big milestone this week was the floor, and it's really tied the place beautifully together. On a personal side, I also had to do quite a bit of admin from my side. The first being that I went to the Camera, the municipality, in person to check on my water application. Because I actually have a water connection, or at least a water point, on the boundary of my farm, right on my gate wall, I wanted to see if I can just activate it. So I put in an application in June already, when I knew that I was going to be doing my renovations here. And it's been June, July, August, September, October, November, 6 months, and I still hadn't heard back. So I went there in person to only be told that there was no official application made, even though I've been following up on a regular basis. So I did the paperwork and I completed the application in front of them, and now there is an official application. So it may take months, like literally 6 months or more, for that to happen. So I've been told that I should just go and pop in on a monthly basis and see on the progress in person. So if you're renovating around here, if you're renovating in Portugal, be sure to do all of those admin tasks in person. It goes a long way. So Because I'm not going to have a water connection, I did consider putting in a borehole. However, putting in a borehole is going to be really, really expensive. The cheapest that I could find it for was 3,000 euros, and that's just to put the borehole in. Then there's still the pump connections and everything else that has to run the borehole, electricity and whatnot. So the final price on that will be really, really expensive. One of the team on the construction company that I'm using suggested an alternative solution, something that they use on their own farm. And I love the idea because it's saving me quite a lot of money. So this is something that I'm going to be investigating. We have laid all the water lines to the side where the actual water connection is from the municipality. It's going to connect to the municipal water one day, and it also connects to the water treatment system, water treatment plant, the septic tank for all intents and purposes as well. So what I'm thinking of doing is getting an IBC tank. They take up to 1,000 liters per tank. I'm going to fill that with my well water. I'm going to put a pump on there and then run it into the house as just using for washing up and dishes and showering, which I can use the water for. I will then still go and collect my drinking water from the village over, which is called Aguas, which is about 10 minutes away. Really beautiful fountain water, straight from the earth. Really, really good. So we're currently investigating this, and that setup will cost me a couple of hundred as opposed to a couple of thousand, which is quite a significant saving. I'm going to place the tank on the same side as where my connection is going to be, so we can keep all the water connections, and then one day when I am connected to the municipal water, we just change the connections out and connect to mains from the IBC tank. So that's going to make quite a big difference. The other bit of admin that I went to do is I went to follow up on the door that I got a quote for. I went and got a quote for a front door 9 weeks ago, actually, because I went at the start of this renovation. So it was 9 weeks ago that I went to get a quotation to have a door created because it's a very odd size. It's 107 by 190. The space for the door. I bought that interim door and we put up the interim door on the interim wooden frame because it doesn't fit the space at all. And the idea was to remove that and put in the door. Anyway, so I went back to the company to follow up because I still hadn't received a quotation or anything from them 9 weeks later. So I went to ask what happened, and they couldn't find my original application, of course. And I did go there in person, just by the way, the previous time. So I've put in another order in this week. So first they have to give me a quotation before we can actually officially go ahead with the order. And they said based on if I get the quotation, so I'll just go and follow up next week again. If I get the quotation, it should take 2 months for me to get that door. So fingers crossed that that temporary door that they've put up holds in place, and that wood doesn't rot off. So I'm thinking about putting a temporary structure, just a little roofing structure above the door to save it from all the water running down into that door, and hopefully the frame will last a little bit longer, because now it's got to last for 2 months until I get a door, hopefully. And apparently in December everything shuts down, so very similar to South Africa, the 15th, the middle of the month, December to mid-month, January, nothing happens, everything shuts down, so you lose a whole month. But all of these things are part and parcel with how things work around here. We'll get it done eventually, it just takes a little bit more time. I'm quite excited to show you guys what's happened on the farm with the renovation. So let me show you how beautifully this space came together this week.
Hello and welcome. I'm Christine, an expat originally from South Africa. I moved to Portugal in October of 21, and I started my journey in search of my forever farm in Portugal. This is my adventure as a solo expat on a farm in Central Portugal with my 2 fur kids, Shakti and Shiva. I've never owned or lived on a farm, but I moved to Portugal in the hope of fulfilling a lifelong dream in finding an open space, subsistence farming, and a safer, better life. Now that we have found our farm, the second stage of our journey begins. I have to figure out farm life while renovating an agricultural structure to make it habitable and turn it into a comfortable home for me and my fur kids. Follow along our journey. This is Girl Meets Farm.
Day 1, week 9. Today the focus was on just cleaning up the floor and just getting all of that rubbish out, because tomorrow the floor might actually be laid. I'm not sure if it will be tomorrow or the day after, but we're busy preparing for the floor. Some of the other preparations was knocking down the columns into its final size as well, and that looks just so incredible again. And they've started with the line pointing on this side. All the big gaps like this will fill with a rock and then point between. But otherwise I want to keep it very rough looking the way that it is now. Once the pointing is done and fully dried, which takes approximately a week apparently, I will clean off more of these granite stones from the lime and any concrete or any dirt that is still on there, clean them up so that they look a little bit more polished and clean. The other thing they started working on today was the window frame, just to frame that out nicer and give that the final render. And also on the door, the sides and the top of the door, they started working on finessing more of that. So check this out. Now I know that there was a plank here and a plank on the window to keep the render in place. I quite like the look of that. As a finishing off, I guess, on the door and on the window against the roof, it kind of looks nice. I won't do anything like that now, but it could be, I don't know, a nice feature maybe in future if I ever decided to do that. Then on the outside, let's see on the outside, this is lovely. So all the render has now been finished off on the outside wall as well. Oh, and that looks gorgeous. There's going to be an outside light over there. Right, so this side has been finished off. So it rained really, really, really hard today. So working outside was really difficult. So they've done as much as they possibly could on this wall, but that looks beautiful. A really beautiful finish. And then we'll finish the bottom wall the same as the other stone walls, like this. So it gets that edging, but it is completely smooth. And then on the back, over the wall, on the back, this back wall also needed some render. I'll see if I can get there. Day 2, week 9, and it's been super unpleasant weather-wise today, and it just continues with rain. Today the floor was poured, and we struggled so much to keep the cat out here. It just wanted to be in here. Tobias just wanted to be inside here and leave his signature on the concrete. They made a little bridge walkway to get to both sides. Can't really see much in there right now. In the bathroom, they made a little barrier there so that they can pour the concrete up to the barrier so that we can fit my shower tray. And there's a little bridge across here so they can get to the other side where they're still doing some work on finishing the columns. Yes, can you see that one is gone? And they've started pointing this one. Let me see if I can make my way through my little obstacle course. Right, and not destroy their concrete in the meantime. Oh, let's turn the light. To show you what this column looks like pointed. I think that's gorgeous. There's still some detail work that needs to be finished at the bottom here, so all the holes, I think they're gonna still put some cement down. But I'm excited for the way that looks. I'm gonna wash down the stones when the lime is dry and polish those stones down, so it'll be a really beautiful feature, because I don't think it's coming out in this light, but all of these stones actually shimmer. They have this beautiful sparkle to them, and when they're cleaned up, they're actually really pretty. The other side, let's see if we can move the light. Already started on the other side as well. I didn't see that. So the pointing has started on this side too. I think we're going to stick a rock up there in that hole. And yeah, looks really good. I think they'll be finishing the pointing work tomorrow. Oh, funny. I just found another cat paw in the cement, and it continues over there. Looking really great. week 9. And the floor has dried nicely. That's where the shower tray will go. The window's in. The door is kind of in. The pointing is finished. The frame is in place, but still needs to be finished. This was a huge mission to fit this door. The first cement has gone in under the door, and when that is dry, on Monday, they will continue with the door. But it does work. Getting close. Excited to see what next week brings. See you next time.